Diecast Norbs is a channel devoted to the teen to adult toy collector, pop culture fans, and fellow nerd enthusiasts. This is a PG-13 channel. I might say some shit. Viewer and parental discretion is advised. Hello to all of you, Bobby Grana, Weep, Ninny Bon to each and every one of you, and happy holidays to each and every one. It's time for another episode of Diecast Norbs Galactic Hooligan, and I really want to thank you all for joining me once again. Right now, I have actually just gotten a chance to see some of the stats for my YouTube, and I couldn't thank you enough for giving me the support and love that you all have actually given to me and everything, with my greatest one still being KBB Bumblebee. That's actually still the best video that I actually have right now, and I'm just trying to figure out exactly how to top that one, but it seems like everybody's actually looking up for that guy and everything, and he is a great bug. I still need to actually get into another thing that'll actually entice your fancies and everything like that, because I am dying to actually get the numbers of this guy, but that goes without being said. Right now we are actually coming to the end of Kingdom, and I'm actually kind of feeling a little nostalgic. So today I'm actually going to take you through an old school review, and I hope you like it. I'm actually going to set this disclaimer. I am not the best when it actually comes down to certain care for certain alternators and BTs. Well, actually the BTs are pretty spotless, but my alternators, I kind of left them out on windowsills and everything like that to impress people who actually came over and said, "Is that a car?" And then all of a sudden I transform it and all of a sudden it's a bot, But that's actually segueing into my video, and we're actually going to take you over to my stage so I can actually review this guy. And welcome to my show. If you're new to my show, I really hope you like what I actually do. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I would appreciate that so much. It is a small step for you, but a giant leap for me to actually help me and feeding my algorithm monster. I really appreciate that. For all of you joining me still, I really appreciate you for coming in to join me once again and going through my whole entire spiel with nerddom and everything over these giant transforming robots and everything that actually has a piece of my heart, So, with that being said, let's get you over to the review station. Thanks for joining me. Also, with the new variants that are actually going out this week and everything, and I don't even know what the flavor of the week is anymore, just remember, be a hero, wear a mask, make sure that you actually go out and just keep these things on for a little while longer and everything until we actually get this thing under wraps. I know the Dread Pirate Robinson actually promised that these would actually be fashionable. They kind of are. Let's enjoy them while we actually have them for now and everything. But aside from that, welcome. And now, let's get on with the review. All right. Now, blame this on the lifestyle of a busy reviewer, but life and home and everything like that, and that's actually kind of gotten in the way of being able to bring out reviews a little bit quicker, but and also moving into a new place actually kind of gets in the way also and everything. But I'm gonna tell you something. This guy has actually been slated to actually for a review for a long time, and it's none other than Altenators Mirage. I really love this guy so much, and he's just really one of the most fantastic alternators that I actually think that has ever been made, next to Smokescreen and everything. Smokescreen is actually one of my all-time favorites. This one is actually in really just number one spot along with Smokescreen and everything. He is super cool, super dynamic. I love him. Mirage here makes me really wish I were more of a car guy and everything. I'm gonna tell you, if you're actually looking for a good car review and everything, please check out Lazy Eyebrow Reviewer, because Lazy Eyebrow, he actually has a lot of a lot of intimate knowledge about cars and automobiles and jets and everything like that. But I'm going to tell you right now, I know what I love here, and this is just great. Complete with 70s styling and everything. The Ford GT is probably one of my favorites, you know? And I love just everything going on here. And remember, I'm kind of like a bad collector sometimes and everything. So there are a couple of like niches right over here that I might need to fix and everything like that. Maybe come in with like a little bit of white paint. This was actually here when I bought them and everything. But leaving them out in the sun isn't really the best move or anything like that. I'll say that. But I love how dynamic this car actually is. This car mode just screams passion to me and everything. I'm actually going to be honest and say I would be really hard pressed in which one to choose between like a Ford GT and a Lamborghini. And I know a lot of you will actually be screaming Lamborghini or Bugatti and everything like that. But let me tell you, this car actually is just really fun. I really would love to like see this. I'll just drive one of these in real life one day and everything, because this is just great. Completely stick. I'm actually a big stick lover and everything, so like this would actually just be a dream car of mine to drive. The car doors open beautifully, and when you actually go in, you can actually see all of the great details that they actually carry into this. He is a stick shift right over there. You actually have like a lot in the way of like car dials and everything like that. It is great. I love the fact that they actually put in these plush seats over here. They're actually really cool also. And you've got to be happy with like the fact that Hasbro and Takara actually decided to go in here and just like print all the details and everything that actually goes into this. I was actually kind of surprised that it didn't actually have like the clutch and the brakes and and all this other jazz in here, but like I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did that. Look, they even gave you a glove box on the inside of it. Hold on, let me focus on that. You know, if that's not attention to detail, I don't know what is. Along with opening doors, you actually do get like the front opening hood right over here where you can actually probably put your luggage and that sort of thing. And on the back itself, there's this thing right over here where you could actually open up the trunk and you can actually see the engine. Again, everybody, forgiveness, because I am a bad collector here and everything when it actually comes down to this. But you actually open this up and you actually get like kind of like a good look at the engine over here. Mine is actually yellowing. Kind of hate this thing also and everything. Kind of wish they actually did this all in silver, which I'm actually kind of contemplating doing, you know? But like this is just beautiful, beautiful work. I love the way the wheels actually go into the wheel wells there and everything. It is just spectacular. I would probably never be able to stop gushing about this car altogether. Also, I love the fact that they actually did this. Hold on, I'm doing this with one hand. But right under here, there's a part right over here where you can actually just kind of like guide the car, and it's actually got like an axle and everything right over there, so you can actually make right and left turns and everything. And that's actually very, very cool. And I love the fact that they actually figured that out. Lots of detailing underneath also. Just really, really cool stuff going on here and everything. And I love it. Those headlights are just great. You got the Ford emblem right over there, the Autobot emblem right over there and everything, pretty prominent and everything, you know? I'm not sure if everybody actually has, oh, there goes like the engine coolant, the engine cooler right over there. That's actually very cool. Ford GT prominently on both sides. I'm not exactly sure if they actually got everything pretty correct. Oh, that's nice. I forgot about mentioning that. They actually have Cybertronian radials and everything, you know, and that's actually very cool also. You know, so like, I really love this. I think they actually figured out a lot about making these alternators as great as they can actually be. And you know, I really have to give my thanks to Hasbro and Takara for making this. Back in the day, this was actually what we had for masterpieces and everything. It was BT and Alternator. I really wish I had actually gotten a chance to get the Rodimus version of this also, or the Kiss Player's Rodimus. Aside from the obvious Kiss Player like characters that they actually came in with, questionable, you know. But aside from that, like this guy is great. Even down to like the paint scheme, they actually have like this kind of like marbleized like plastic that's actually going on in here. That's actually really spectacular also. Kind of like gives this like more of that value and everything. I really think that's so cool. Anyway, I'm going to give you some comparisons. Okay, one quick comparison will actually be Masterpiece Sideswipe. I really think it's actually interesting to see how like the alternators actually compare to a modern day Masterpiece. So there goes one. Masterpiece Wheeljack. Again, look at that. You know, like I think the Altia Lancia is actually kind of like maybe this size and everything compared to the GT, you know? I mean, I don't know. But like this is actually very cool. I love it. Masterpiece Acid Storm. And this is where we actually start getting like a little bit more into like a bigger realm and everything. I love Acid Storm here. Like he actually looks fantastic next to this guy. Like Mirage and Acid Storm, quite feasibly, I think Acid Storm and Mirage should actually be able to fit kind of like almost, not toe-to-toe or anything like that, but just like well enough to actually be able to be a part of each other's worlds and everything, you know? So that's actually very cool. And I love the fact that this is actually kind of like translatable to the Masterpiece line and everything. So that's actually very, very cool. Alternator Smokescreen, because I keep on talking up Smokescreen to death and everything, and I really love how these guys actually look together, you know? Like, I really do think that they would actually pretty much be about the same size and everything as far, I mean, I think they were actually pretty much like perfect together and everything. So you actually have like a little bit of Fast and the Furious action here and everything, you know? So like, that's very, very cool. Also, Kingdom Optimus Prime here, or Earthrise Optimus Prime, whichever one you actually want to say and everything like that. I actually got him back in the Kingdom days and back in the Earthrise days and everything, but you might know him as Kingdom. Again, the sizing disparity between them is stupendous and everything, only because this is kind of like more of like a Masterpiece or Alternator sizing and everything like that. So of course this guy isn't going to be as huge or anything like that. Take off the trailer, but like there you go. And just to give you like a quick you know, knowledge, just in case you actually don't have like any of the Masterpieces or any of the Alternators or anything in your collection. And I just wanted to show you what this looks like. Transforming Mirage is very cool, although there are a couple of things that you actually have to watch out for when transforming him. There are a couple of discrepancies on exactly how Mirage's chest should actually be. I'm going to show you exactly what I do for his chest, and bring you around to a couple of other flavors of like the chest orientation and everything. But right now we're actually going to start off by opening the trunk right over here. Now mine is still a little loose over here and everything. I actually had to keep on going into it with Kiki's and just like try to tighten it up as much as possible, because when you actually get to the back transformation actually kind of like leaves this kind of like hanging, or you know, you just have to kind of like get it under the roof and everything, and try to figure out exactly how to like actually get it situated in such a way. And I don't really think that they actually gave like a whole lot of thought into how to put this away and everything in transformation. I kind of think that it's actually kind of like mangled by just like maybe not having a couple of like other hinges over here and everything, so you can actually collapse it into like a better backpack, you know. But it was probably what they were actually dealing with when it actually came down to budget and how they actually fixed the plastics and everything. So there we go. We're just going to remove this engine for now, and we're going to do this. We're going to take these panels right over here and kind of like bring them down and out of the way. There are a couple of little, hold on, there we go. there are a couple of little pegs right over here that'll actually go right in here. So when you're actually bringing him back into robot mode in transformation, those are kind of like some of the things that you actually want to look out for. Now, we are going to take this, and I love this part of the transformation where you take the back and kind of like just separate it right there. That is genius about this transformation here. I love that, and I kind of wish they actually did that a lot more when it actually comes down to the back wheels. I mean, when it comes down to the back lights. Then we're going to open this up. We're going to rotate these two legs all the way over here on this hinge. Then we're going to, there's another part right over here where we just have to slide, it's on a slider, so just slide it until it locks in. And on the other side, do the same thing. Slide it until it locks in. Then bring the feet down, rotate them opposingly from each other. Then we're going to take these legs, close this off. Remember, if you don't put these two pieces in, you're not going to be able to close this as flush as it is right there. So we'll just take this. We're going to rotate the back lights and just leave them right over here. Again, rotate the back lights and leave them right here. Then we're going to rotate the legs right over here. And then we're going to rotate the lower half of the body. And there we go. Well, let's just get these two heels over here. And then you actually have the lower part done. The top, lords and lasses, this is where everything's actually going to be like a little bit more interesting. We're just going to bring this in like this. And you could actually leave that here if you actually really wanted to, but let's do this. Let's take these two panels out. And then what you actually want to do is you want to pull, actually, do this first. Take that hood and then take this out of the pegs right over here in the front end of the hood. So just remove that, and then you'll actually have this. And now you actually want to take these and kind of like pull them up and over, because there is a notch right there that'll actually be included right over here in the wheel and the wheel well. There's like a peg that's actually right there. And what you want to do is just make sure that this notch right over here in this peg, when you're going back into car mode, slot those back in, and that's what actually gets you your axle movement and everything like that right here. I'm just going to give you a small example. You move that wheel, and all of that actually happens right there on this axle, which is really, really nice, you know? But when you're actually going into robot mode, you actually want to move that out of the way. Then, let's start working on the arms. We'll unpeg it right over here. I love the fact that there's so many pegs. We'll unfurl the arms. There we go. And we're just going to bring this to the side right over here. Then rotate, and then rotate the hands. And there we are. Again, we're going to do the same thing over here. We're just going to disconnect it right over here by pulling it just a little bit and just making sure that it actually goes right on, that it glides itself right down on this hinge on the inside. Also, you actually want to take this out of its peg. We'll put this at the side here. Sorry for shaking the camera. We'll bring this down. We'll bring this out. Then bring that whole entire arm section down here, and then rotate, and then rotate again. And there goes your arms. Now what I do is I usually put this headpiece in underneath here like this. So you actually have like a little bit more leeway. So for this, you just have to make sure that you rotate this and then rotate it again. So just rotate, bring the head down, and then rotate it again. And what a beautiful head sculpt. Now we have all this done. And this is where everything starts getting a little hairy and everything as far as where to put this hood placement. Now, you could actually leave it like this, and you could actually be done there, and that looks cool. you could actually bring this down, and then right over here you actually have two hinges that are actually on the inside that you could actually bring this down and make it look like this. And that's actually a way of putting on his hood and everything like that. And then for me though, there are a couple of pieces over here that should actually be used, and I'm not exactly sure why it doesn't like necessarily slide into those pieces, into these slots right over here. And I like, as far as I've actually tried it, it looks like it should work, but it doesn't. So this is what I actually do for my Mirage. For my Mirage, there are a couple of vents that are actually right over here. I like to make sure that this whole entire thing actually gets used. And he will actually look a little bit more top heavy in this configuration, but this is like the way that I actually do my Mirage. So the vents are actually in here, and then this actually gets placed like right here and right here. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do it, and I kind of wish there was, because this piece right over here is the one thing that actually just becomes so disconcerting to me, and I kind of wish that there was actually a better way to do it. But with your favorite joint stiffeners and everything, you can actually get it to hold pretty well and everything, so it's not really missing a whole lot of anything. So just make sure that these two actually go under here, so you actually kind of have your vent hinge and everything going into his body. And then just place these two doors down like this, and there we are. Now here goes the second problem. With the doors out of the way, I just want to show you exactly what else I was actually thinking, because right over here you actually want to put that steering wheel under there, and then just fold the seats. Now here goes the second issue. With this, I kind of wish that there was a way to actually get this to actually kind of fold up on top of on top of the windshield, because I think that would have actually been great, and it would have actually been solved by maybe including another hinge right over here and over here, so you can actually collapse all of that in. That would have actually been great. They would have been great also if they had actually put a couple of hinges on the inside of the trunk here, so it can actually collapse and go into his body. This is what I wound up doing. Since we actually have more joint stiffeners and everything, it was actually a good deal to actually be able to flip this over and then put this in so. That actually works. Second configuration, which I use a lot more, is just flipping everything underneath and just putting that roof down right over here. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much it'll actually scratch all the paints and everything like that on the inside, but again, me being the bag collector, who cares at this moment and everything, you know what I mean? But there we go, and that actually sits a little bit more flush to his back and everything. So we're actually going to continue the review with this in this configuration, and let's get back to it. Now, as many things that I've actually said about Mirage and everything while transforming him, and my points of contention aside, he really is the best that Altenators has actually given us, in my opinion. Even better than Smokescreen. I love Smokescreen too. I freaking love that guy. The WRX and the Datsun 280 Fairlady Z is always what actually says Autobot to me, you know? But this altogether, it's actually got a good combination of everything. Almost the flat hood that Sideswipe actually has, and a little bit more of the styling that the Fairlady Z's actually had, you know? So this is actually just a very cool guy altogether. His styling is superb, and I really love all the design elements that they actually added into this guy, worthy of the Ford GT, you know? But let's get a close look into this guy. Mirage here actually takes a huge break away from his G1 counterpart and everything to give us something of his own, you know? All the venting and everything that's actually all around here, all the design elements here, I really love this bot so much. I love the way his arms are designed and everything, you know. He's actually still got the opening wrist and everything like that a Masterpiece actually has. And for an alternator, he actually had rotation on the waist and everything like that. That's actually very cool. They thought a lot about like where they were actually going to joint everything. And like down on his lower legs and everything, we actually have a whole lot of just great detail here. The only thing that I kind of wish is that they actually had a way to like actually bring down like maybe a couple of other panels just to fill this gap right over here. Kind of an eyesore, but really just like beautiful all around the place and everything. I really love this. Don't worry about this paint, guys. Don't worry about this paint. But like, look at this. This guy is just really, really amazing. I love it. There is nothing I don't like about this guy except for one thing. And his weapons kind of suck, actually. You know, I kind of wish they actually gave him like maybe a separate weapon altogether and everything that, you know, because back in the Altenators day, we actually had to have like a weapon that actually merged with the car and everything. He actually comes with this engine that splits apart and then becomes these little pea shooters here and everything. So like, just let me give this over to you. And then this one is the most annoying of them all and everything, because this gun right over here is just so off-centered, you know? But again, don't mind the yellowing. This is just me, just like having my way with being a bad collector and everything like that. I really do wish that this actually was just fully painted in blue. Maybe I'll do that myself and everything, leaving some of the silver bits and everything like that so he can actually have like a more cohesive weapon. And this one right over here, probably the better out of the both of them and everything. I kind of wish that we actually had two of these instead of like one of these and one of these. Now, if you actually really wanted to, you could actually go ahead and merge the weapons. So you could actually kind of like do this thing, I guess, and then you actually have like here we go, like maybe another kind of stun gun or something like that, or maybe another kind of gun. I mean, this one actually looks a little bit better to me than anything else. But as far as this is actually concerned, I don't know, like I'm still thinking that it probably wasn't the best thing they could have actually done. I kind of wish that they actually found a way to make this some kind of like massive rifle or something like that instead. But if you want to, all you want to do is just like put them in here, and they actually have a couple of peg holes right over here that actually goes into Mirage. So just do this, and then he actually does grasp the guns pretty well. Pretty well being, it's actually just okay, but like not the best that I've actually seen in any of these lines or anything like that. But it still works. You know, I really hate just like how offset this barrel is here and everything. Aside from the weapons, I really don't think that there's anything that I can say that's especially bad about him. This guy is pretty awesome. Like, if I want to bitch about things and everything like that, it's probably going to be like the way the hood actually, the way the back roof actually, I mean the back trunk actually kind of like comes in here and everything. And really, like, you'd actually have to use your own imagination to how you actually want to put this on. But aside from that, and like maybe the front hood actually becoming the chest, aside from that, he's really, really awesome. So like, I don't know, like I really think he's actually kind of like a build your own adventure bot and everything pretty much, but like he's very cool. I like him. Articulation is really cool on this guy. He actually has a 360 on his head due to a ball joint. I actually had to fix mine quite a bit and everything like that also, and this was the one thing that actually came super loose. But he's actually got uninhibited rotational joint right over here on his shoulder. He has another joint right over here that you can actually use for his shoulders and everything too. So you can actually get like super dynamic poses with this guy. He actually has a rotation on the bicep. He has a double hinge right over here on his elbow. So we used it for transformation, but you can actually easily use it for everything else. He actually has an in and out on his wrist over here. He actually has rotation right over here at his wrist. He actually has a 3-finger joint right over here, and he actually has, a 3-finger hinge joint right over here. He actually has a pointer. He actually has an index finger, so that's great. He can actually kick out pretty well and everything. That kind of inhibited by the brake lights over here. He can kick out to a degree also, but also inhibited by like all his back kibble and everything. He actually has a thigh rotation right over here. He actually has a bend at the knee. Well, not really the knee, but like he actually has a bend there. He also has in and out right over here at his ankle. He actually does come with some dorsey, no flexion. So how can I actually forget, because I mentioned that just like a little while ago, but waist rotation. So he is pretty much a great, and also this thing right over here at his shoulder. So he actually has a wide array of movement and everything going throughout his whole entire body. It's really great. Like, he was actually really well thought out in that sense. I just kind of wish they actually followed up with this trunk right over here and everything, and like everything else that actually goes in here, because like I said before, it's actually kind of like a shame they didn't have like ways of like, or they didn't think of ways to like lock things in properly and everything, because this guy would have actually been far superior to everything else that's actually out there as far as the alternators and BTs were actually concerned. Let me just give you some size comparisons. Here goes Mirage when in close combat with Acid Storm. There's Mirage with Sideswipe and Sunstreaker, or that Cube Sunsurge. Mirage with Wheeljack. And here goes Mirage with Smokescreen. And these guys look amazing together, like really fitting of the Alternator BT line. And I really think that he was actually one of the last figures that actually came in the Alternator BT line, and I'd like to think that this was actually like one of the final touches to actually what made this line great. I can't really remember if it was him or if it was maybe Rumble that might have actually came out last or something, but like this guy is such a great treat and everything. If you have the ability to find one, I really highly suggest one and everything. Like, he's just great. I'm gonna give you final thoughts. Now, I'm not saying that Mirage was actually the best of the best out of any line or anything like that, but he was actually the best of the alternators, I feel. And I kind of feel like all the design elements that they actually used in him made him just a stupendous and kind of like stand out above all the rest. Mirage really is one of these great figures that actually makes you ask, why did this line actually end? But I'm really glad that they actually ended it on a high note, which is this guy. It's kind of like that old adage in showbiz that actually says, leave them wanting more, And this guy really did make me want more and more of alternators. And I'm actually kind of like really just sad that this line actually ended. If you actually get a chance to get this dynamic fellow, you should actually get him, because he's actually really great. I highly recommend him. For me, I'm glad I actually got a chance to get him. I just kind of wish I actually had one that was a little bit more unscuffed and everything, because that's just the way it was in my old house. But this guy is actually great. Still yet, even like slightly mangled, he's still excellent, I still want to get the Rodimus Prime version of him and everything, because there are a couple of things that I loved in that one, Even though it actually still carries the same things with like the trunk and like the roof here, and the hood over here and everything. Even though it actually still came with some of the same like things that actually make this kind of like iffy, he's still excellent, So like, even though he's actually slightly mangled, he still remains being awesome, and that's what I love about this guy, Like, no matter what you're actually getting out of him, he's great. 100%. And that's it for me for today. I'm really happy that you were able to join me once again on my transcendence through nerddom and everything. I really appreciate each and every one of you coming in, and I couldn't ask for more or anything. I mean, I could. Just pass me around to your friends like a blunt. Pass me around, because get me out there. Get me out there. And when these stop being magical, that's when I'll stop collecting. I will definitely talk to you soon.